3 police cars tore down my driveway that morning because I was bathing my therapy horse in my own lake. Yeah, you heard right. Sirens screaming, guns drawn, like I was running a bioweapon lab instead of trying to keep myself sane. I'm a combat vet, lost my son to cancer, lost my wife to PTSD's slow motion wreck, and thunder. My battered, beautiful horse is about the only reason I still get out of bed in the morning. But there's Glenda Rick HOA president standing on my dock like the queen of mean iPhone out filming my crimes and probably thinking she's just handed me my final defeat. Joke's on her, though, because that call she made, it set off a federal investigation, and when the FBI digs up what she buried under that lake, someone's going to jail for murder. You ever have one of those mornings where you just know you're walking into a story you'll still be telling on your deathbed? That was mine. Drop where you're watching from in the comments because next time it could be your HOA that gets outed. Anyway, let's rewind a little before all hell broke loose. Every Tuesday for 8 months, it's been just me and Thunder wandering down to our cove at dawn for his therapy. He's a rescue, this stallion, haunted by his own nightmares till my Uncle Wilson brought him here, and somehow we both started healing together. Lost my boy Tommy to leukemia 2 years back, 8 years old and tougher than any soldier I ever served with, and my marriage collapsed not long after with PTSD piling on top of grief, until all I had left was Thunder in this ritual. Uncle Wilson left me this place when cancer got him a little cabin, 150 feet ashore, and a lake so clear it's practically holy. Thunder's water therapy. Not just for his old racing injuries, but for the darkness always threatening to drag me under. So that morning, just after sunrise, I'm waist deep in the water working Thunder's neck when I hear Glenda's voice slicing through the air, shrill righteous. "Get that filthy animal out of our community lake!" She's waving her phone around like she's auditioning for Real Housewives of Pine Ridge and Thunder. God bless him. Just looks at her, blinks, and keeps enjoying his spa day. "Morning, Glenda," I call, pretending I've got patience left. "Just Thunder's usual session, same as every Tuesday. Hope you're having a blessed morning." She turns this shade of purple you only see on bad bruises storming up and down my dock, hurling accusations about environmental codes and public health as if Thunder's going to unleash some horse-born apocalypse. You know, the type brand-name clothes hair, like a helmet voice, like a drill sergeant certain that HOA means her own authority. She snarls about my folksy veteran routine, and next thing I know, she's called the cops reporting me for every violation in the book. That hit different, not because I hadn't heard worse, but because she weaponized my trauma like it was a bargaining chip. 15 minutes later, here come 3 Pine Ridge police cruisers, lights flashing, ready for World War III. Officer Martinez, who I know from the coffee shop, approaches slow radio ready and tries to keep it professional. "Sir, we got reports of illegal animal activity and environmental violations. Need you to bring your horse out so we can verify." You could almost see the confusion on his face. He was expecting a rodeo, not a tired vet and his old horse. Glenda's hovering arms crossed, lips pursed, and Martinez looks between us like he's solving a riddle with half the clues missing. "Ma'am," he says, "can you clarify what laws you believe were violated? This looks like a property owner using his lake for legitimate animal care." Glenda's voice shakes as she starts throwing in HOA covenants, commercial animal activity, even accuses me of running a therapy business for profit. I nearly laugh. She's so practiced at lying, it's almost impressive, except it's destroying the one thing that keeps me functional. Then comes the twist. Martinez asks for my documents, so I wait up, grab Uncle Wilson's waterproof folder, every deed, every compliance letter, right down to the environmental impact statement from 1987, when Wilson bought the place. The second Martinez sees the official seal, his eyebrows shoot up, and Glenda steps back like she touched a live wire. "These could be forged," she snaps, but her voice has lost all that bite. Martinez, calm as you like, says, "Ma'am, these are official county and state documents with raised seals and registration numbers. I can verify them with one call." He reaches for his radio, and suddenly Glinda looks like she's about to faint. What I didn't mention was the third document, a sealed report Uncle Wilson left behind that had later turned this sideshow into national headlines and toppled Glinda's whole criminal empire. But even as I watched her confidence collapse, I knew this was just the start. How many other folks had she steamrolled with her invented rules? Martinez's radio crackles and a dispatcher's voice says, "Unit 247, we've got a federal warrant request for HOA property records. FBI wants all financials from the last 5 years." Glinda goes from purple to ghost white. She tries to slink away, mumbling about urgent HOA business, but Martinez's partner blocks her. Right then, Thunder lets out a whinny that sounds like he's calling the cavalry. Neighbors start drifting over, watching the spectacle unfold. And out steps Rita Yamamoto, retired journalist, with a manila envelope and a voice that means business. "Officer Martinez, you'll want to see this. I've been collecting these financial records for 2 years. Glinda's been stealing from every family here. Inside, forged invoices, bank statements, proof of property seizures, straight-up organized crime." Glinda bolts for her cabin, but there's nowhere to run. Officer Rodriguez stops her hand on his cuffs, and as Martinez starts leafing through the envelope, the scale of what Glinda's done comes out. Fake violations, property grabs from seniors, single moms, disabled vets, all sold off to shell companies, the money vanishing overseas. But here comes another sledgehammer. A black SUV with government plates pulls in and out, steps Agent Sarah Chen, Financial Crimes Enforcement Network. "Mr. Holloway," she says, "your HOA has been under surveillance for months. Your dispute this morning triggered an alert. We're running Operation Clean Slate, and the timing couldn't be better." Glinda's knees give way. She collapses on the dock, sobbing, as Chen tells her she's under arrest for wire fraud, money laundering, RICO violations, and more. Chen starts laying it all out, evidence of toxic waste dumping, insurance fraud, ties to Marcus Steele's environmental crimes. That Lake Thunder and I used for healing poisoned so the board could pocket kickbacks. Underwater pipes, chemical dumping, industrial-scale sickness, 15 communities across 6 states, hundreds of sick kids, all for profit. That's when Mrs. Patterson, elderly widow, sees a photo. Her late husband's garden, bulldozed by Glinda for aesthetic violations, was actually hiding a waste injection site. Chen reveals Uncle Wilson didn't die of natural causes. He was murdered for trying to expose the operation. Wilson filed an EPA complaint, got diagnosed with rare cancer 3 days later, poisoned by the very chemicals Steele's company dumped. Rita, always the reporter, asks, "Are you saying Wilson was murdered to cover up the dumping, and how many have been exposed?" Chen pulls medical stats. "Our community's seen a 400% spike in liver and kidney disease. Everyone's been drinking poisoned water." And then the final gut punch, a photo of Wilson and an EPA whistleblower coordinator dated 2 weeks before his death. "Wilson left me a letter sealed with instructions to open it only if federal investigators confirmed his death was murder. If you're reading this, they've killed me. The lake's the key. There's a waterproof box under the old oak tree with evidence to bring these killers down. And Jace Tommy's leukemia wasn't random. Steele's company dumped chemicals at your Colorado base housing. 7 other kids died the same way." The anger in my chest was volcanic. This wasn't just about HOA drama or even stolen land. This was child murder, and my boy was one of them. Chen's team fished out Wilson's evidence box, inside proof of a conspiracy so deep, so protected, it'd take down regulators, corporate execs, even politicians. But the betrayal closest to home, my ex-wife Sarah, the one who left after Tommy's funeral, was now working for Steele's legal defense, paid off to spy on me, feeding them details about my therapy and mental health to discredit me as a witness. She even gave the hit team my daily schedule, my own wife betraying our son's memory for a paycheck. It didn't end there. That afternoon, the media swarm hit #Justice for Tommy, trending news vans jamming the street, and just when you think things can't get crazier, a sniper's bullet smashes my kitchen window. Only Thunder's panicked rearing saves my life, and the feds go full tactical, hunting the shooter. They find him right where Wilson hid his last stash of evidence, a pro assassin hired by Steele who's now caught red-handed with documents that finish the case. Chin tells me you're under federal protection, primary witness, in a case that's about to take down the biggest environmental criminal syndicate in the country. But it won't stop here. The evidence leads to Congress, Wall Street, the EPA itself. They'll come for you. Are you ready? All I can think about is Tommy, Uncle Wilson, and the families who never got answers. Grief, yeah, but now, something colder purpose. As feds cordon off my land and Rita live streams, the chaos news breaks that other families across the country are being targeted. Hit squads sent after parents who lost kids to the same poisons. Steele's empire is collapsing in real time. Stocks crash trading halts. The Attorney General forms a task force. The next day, I'm sitting in a federal courtroom. Thunder waiting outside as Chen puts Tommy's drawings, sketches of the bad water trucks and dying trees on display for the jury. The judge, a no-nonsense woman named Morrison, sets the tone. You'll hear about child murder disguised as environmental management. You'll see evidence of government officials covering up the deaths of our most vulnerable. The defendants poisoned water and public trust. The most damning moment, Dr. Santos Tommy's oncologist testifies through tears that my boy tried to warn them, drew pictures of the men and trucks poisoning the water, but nobody listened till now. Lab reports prove Tommy's cancer was triggered by the very chemicals found in our Lake Wilson samples. Tommy's evidence all connecting the dots. Steele's own voice caught on a wiretap orders my neutralization calls. Tommy, the kid who's getting too close. Judge Morrison hammers the gavel life without parole, all assets seized for victim restitution. Thunder's whinny carries through the windows, and for the first time, I feel justice. 6 months later, Pine Ridge is a national model for environmental justice. $847 million cleans the lake funds. A new foundation in Tommy's name. And Rita turns full-time advocate busting crimes all over the country. The healing, though, that's personal. The lake, once a poison pit, is now a center for trauma survivors. And me, the broken vet, the lost father, finds new hope when Agent Chen introduces me to Alex Martinez, Tommy's long-lost twin, stolen at birth in an adoption scam run by the same criminal network. Alex is a grown man, same dark eyes, and he spent his life tracking toxic dump sites, trying to save families from the hell we lived through. Now he's here with Thunder with me, and together we're going after every last monster who thinks kids' lives are expendable for profit. As the sun sets over a lake that's finally healing, Rita's already planning the next campaign, and Agent Chen says, "Your boy's drawings are rewriting federal law." You know, sometimes the world hands you law so deep you think you'll never climb out, but every so often from the worst darkness, a little light leaks through. Sometimes a broken veteran and his therapy horse really can change the world, one fight, one truth, one family at a time. So tell me, if this were your story, would you fight back? Share your thoughts below. Who's the villain here? One corrupt HOA president or a whole system that lets this happen? Let's hear it.